Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. It's the 5th anniversary of Nick and Amy Dunn's wedding, but that morning, Amy mysteriously disappears. Nick is suddenly thrown into the spotlight, and people are unsure whether or not he is innocent or guilty of his wife's disappearance. Gone Girl is an intense thrill ride that constantly keeps you guessing and makes you wonder what secrets your spouse keeps from you. 5 stars! Hell yeah, I freaking love this book. Wow, I am so glad I finally read this book. I have heard nothing but incredible hype for this book. This is going to be a spoiler-free review, and I don't even know how on earth I'm going to talk about this book because there's just so many just highlights that I want to talk about but can't because that would give away so many spoilers. So let's get going with the things that I just freaking loved about this book. Number one being that the writing is outstanding. There's just something really refreshing about Gillian Flynn's writing. She just really has a great way with words and making dialogue come out as real and genuine and not something that is forced. The writing often felt very crisp and fresh, and that every single word in some way mattered. And there's also just the right amount of detail in every paragraph. Not so much detail that it's distracting, just enough that it sets the scene perfectly. The second thing that I enjoyed about this novel is the fact that Amy and Nick seem like real people. I could just go down the street and run into Nick and Amy, and they're that real for me. Even though this book deals with a lot of dark and intense subject matter, I still found myself laughing on occasion because that's how great the writing was with the lines of dialogue or the thought processes that were going on from Nick and Amy. Nick and Amy just have a great sense of dry humor. It's kind of very black comedy-ish. And something I particularly liked, I really liked their pop culture know-it-all. I found that really hilarious. The third thing I want to discuss is the dual narrative of this book. The book is told in first person by both Nick and Amy. You'll have Nick's story and then you'll have Amy's story told through her diary. And sometimes in some books, this sort of dual narrative can get a bit confusing and kind of dry, especially if the narrators don't have distinctive enough voices and you can't tell their narratives apart. But I think Nick and Amy's dual narrative structure format worked perfectly in this book, and they did both have very distinct voices. And the book was formatted like that. You would have Nick, then Amy, Nick, then Amy. And I was able to immediately switch into their voices. And the last thing I want to discuss is the fact that this is the most manipulative book I have ever read. Let me put it this way, Nick and Amy are 100% unreliable narrators, and that's all I can say without giving away spoilers. You never quite know what's the truth, and you never quite know what is a fabrication. One moment you'll be reading from Nick's perspective, and you might really like Nick, but then you'll go to Amy's perspective, and you'll really hate Nick. And it goes the same. You'll be reading Amy's perspective, you'll like Amy, but then you'll be reading Nick's perspective, and you'll hate Amy. And I really loved that. I loved that at one moment you can like these characters and then another moment just absolutely despise them, and it was just great. This book constantly plays with your emotions and constantly makes you question what it is you are exactly seeing and hearing. And this book also flips gender stereotypes in regards to cases like this that you hear in real world news, which I thought was really fantastic and brilliantly done. So basically, you can never take things at face value in this book. Overall, amazing book. I loved it. I seriously recommend this book to everybody, even if this isn't the genre you typically read. I think this is the type of book that you at least need to give a chance. And if you don't like it, then just put it down, but at least give it a chance. I found it incredibly gripping, and it had a great pace from start to finish. And I tell you what, as soon as I finished this book, I immediately wanted to pick it back up and start from chapter 1, because I feel like it's one of those books that once you get to the end, you want to start over, and now that you know the end, you'll be able to pick up on all the little details. So have you guys read Gone Girl? Do you plan on reading it? And do you also plan on seeing the movie? I am super excited to see the movie. And Ben Affleck is perfectly cast in the role of Nick. Just perfect casting right there. So that's it for this book review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you liked this book review, you may like these other book reviews. Bye guys.